Is there other intelligent life in the universe? Scientists estimate that there are 100 billion stars in our galaxy alone, and the Milky Way is only one of hundreds of millions of galaxies in the universe. Astronomer Harlow Shapley estimates that there are 10 to the 20th power stars within range of our telescopes. How many more uncounted trillions lie beyond? Is it not only logical that at least a few hundred billion are similar to our sun? Can we not only help believe that many millions have planets similar to our own Earth orbiting around them? Is it too far-fetched to imagine that somewhere, at some time, an alien life form has acquired the knowledge and technology to design and build the precision-sized car? If we take for granted that somewhere, someone or something has indeed hit upon the idea of the mass-produced automobile, is it totally absurd to assume that during numerous family outings, Sunday drives, and long business trips taken by these life forms, Earth itself has frequently been a stopping-off place? Perhaps our own planet was once the alien equivalent of Exit 33 on the intergalactic interstate, or perhaps we think too highly of our puny race. Perhaps it was merely clean restrooms. Whatever its purpose, there seems to be no doubt that Earth has been visited by automobilers from beyond. The traces they have left offer overwhelming proof. In almost every culture in every corner of the globe, there's archaeological evidence of contact with motorists from other galaxies. This scroll, found in a Viking burial ship, relates the strange tale of a fierce Viking warrior who met up with one of the aliens. The scroll tells how Haakon the lice-infested was given a ride in one of the stranger's Valhalla ships. The scroll goes on to say that Haakon was then accosted by the stranger, who is described as having hair on his lip like the caterpillar, and urged to mark a piece of parchment covered with tiny scrawling with the stranger tinkling objects of metal before Haakon's eyes that shone as the backs of the lutefisk in the fjords. What conclusion can be drawn from the ancient writings but that Haakon had come in contact with a used car salesman from beyond the stars? There are numerous references in the Holy Bible to contact with drivers from the stars. The last book of Deuteronomy relates the tale of Shibeth, who was approached by strangers bearing empty flasks, who asked them to fill them with oil. As everyone is aware, much of the Earth's oil reserves lie in the Middle East. Could these strangers have been motorists visiting Earth in a car that badly needed a ring job? The Bayeux tapestry, woven in the 11th century, shows frightened Saxons pointing to an object in the sky. Further examination indicates clearly that a crowned figure stands beneath the word herald, holding what looks mysteriously like a dipstick. Since the visitors would obviously allow only the privileged to service their vehicles, could this be a portrait of an early gas station called Harold's? And what about this? Even in South America, traces of contact have been found. Here, the head of the Incas receives tributes from his subjects, including a strange blanket woven of llama hair. What conclusion can be drawn? They were also interested in gas mileage. And this bas-relief, uncovered at a dig in Mesopotamia, speaks for itself. It also proves the theory that these gods, as the ancients called them, did not all drive the same type of car, which leads us to believe that some models were probably status symbols. Scientists, foundations, and thrill seekers around the world have jumped on the bandwagon, and their work has been paying big dividends. The Middle East is a veritable gold mine of archaeological evidence. 3 digs within 100 miles of the ancient site of Babylonia have turned up startling new evidence. An almost perfectly preserved front end found by a German team near Shibboleth. And a hubcap discovered by an Australian team near Suman. The influences of the ancient visitors extend far beyond the parts they left behind. These were found in Denmark, where the original natives obviously used coins which look like hubcaps and even coil springs as currency. Also found at this site was an object that looked mysteriously like a spark plug. We took this object to Warren Pohl, who has a bachelor's degree in biology from the University of Northern Iowa. Pohl was able to carbon-14 date the carbon at the end of this spark plug. In his estimate, give or take 100 years, is that the spark plug is over 20,000 years old. Is this similarity only coincidence?
It's a spark plug.
Are you sure?
What do you think it is? He brought it in here.
Well, I just wanted to make sure. Can you tell me anything else about it?
Looks like an AC 35 NKV. They put it in most of the small block Chevy engines, 55 to 61. Looks like it's been burning some awful low octane fuel. See how it's been carboned up here.
What would you say if I told you that the spark plug has been carbon-14 dated at over 20,000 years old?
Well, that'd account for the low-octane fuel, then, for sure.
This similarity only coincidental. The ancient Aztecs appear to have been intrigued by the short throw shifter and stylish leather racing boot. In some cultures, the natives still worship the ancient gods in their vehicles. In Araby, shrines such as this one at El Aramco abound, but these worshippers of ancient travelers do not always prostrate themselves at such luxurious mosques. Some are humbler, but their purpose remains the same, to plead for long battery life and tight ball joints. High in the Carpathian Mountains is evidence of tribesmen who in eons past buried the gods' abandoned autos with their dead so that they could enjoy big car luxury in the next life. This photo, taken at the sacred burial grounds, offers more proof to the growing pile of evidence. This Inca carving has been passed off as a child's doll. To the more astute observer, it appears strikingly like a modern airbag safety device. The ancient pyramid of Cheops, long a mystery and marvel to scholars around the world. The four sides of the pyramid plus the bottom equal 5. Is it only coincidence that the rear-end ratio of Cale Yarborough's 1977 NASCAR championship car was exactly 5-1? Or is it something else? And this, found in the tomb of King Tut, does it show a woman sitting? Obviously, but closer examination and comparison reveals this striking similarity. Notice the ease of entrance and exit in plush Naga hide upholstery. This bizarre pattern on the landscape in Mongolia, what does it mean? Or rather, what does it suggest? More irrefutable evidence ignored by naysayers in the scientific community. A field recording made by anthropologist Margaret Mead Corporation indicates a tribe in Polynesia which talks in a manner strikingly similar to used car salesmen.
Howdy, neighbor, friend, looking for dependable transportation. This one has good skins, good rubber. Hey, take a check on this baby. This is before pollution control. Get good gas mileage. Took it home, so the wife and kids, they like it plenty too. Hop in this baby.
In 1968, a Russian team visited a remote Siberian site searching for a cave which was said to contain strange objects totally unfamiliar to the natives. Russian defector Dmitry Wadkovich smuggled this rare footage out of the Soviet Union. This film, never seen before, indicates the hostile terrain the team encountered. Wadkovich remembers the hardships. We had struggled for 3 days to reach the site. We were plagued by storms and inclement weather. Finally, we neared the top of Mount Smolensk and the excitement among my colleagues began to grow. What we found was beyond our wildest dreams. What they found was this, in the interior of the cave. Unfortunately, the entrance to the cave was buried under tons of rubble after a 1972 landslide, and this footage is all that remains. The Soviet Union has characteristically suppressed all discoveries of contact with ancient motorists made within their borders. Without defectors like Wadkovich, we would probably not even know of the intense interest the Soviets have for the subject. This photo, taken by a Soviet spacecraft Soyuz-1, the first craft to circle the moon, was one of a mere handful released by TASS. But this one, the first ever taken of the far side of the moon, was suppressed for obvious reasons. Secret headquarters of the National Center for Interstellar Communications, located in a remote Iowa town, is the nerve center from which our military and civilian agencies coordinate attempts to contact travelers in outer space. The men who work in this building are carefully screened and tested to assure absolute secrecy. It is here that careful plots of possible routes of the traveling of the gods are made. These plots are then used when specially constructed microwave towers are built. These towers are constructed using highly advanced technology. Their purpose is to locate and communicate with any interstellar travelers who may be in the vicinity. From impressive regional centers such as this, the agency constantly monitors for electrogenetic frequencies emitted from spacecraft and sorts out the garbled signals received. Much publicity has been made over sophisticated dishes and antennas such as the one at Jodrell Bank in England, but less well known is the theory being pursued by American scientists and military men. These high-powered transformers are linked to special frequencies beamed by the agency which they feel will get better response than the glamorous but as yet unsuccessful dishes. The frequencies sent out by this tower are not in the megawatt range but rather in a lower end of the radio frequency range. Information about these probes has been suppressed by the government for fear of ridicule, but it has been leaked that the U.S. government is experimenting with attempts to contact aliens on the Citizens band.
Break 1-0 for that Skydog. Got your ears on out there, Skydog. Break 1-0, Skydog. Come on. Can you modulate me good, buddy? Come on. Are you reading me wall to wall? Break good, buddy. Come on, Skydog. Got your ears on out there, Skydog. Come on, Skydog.
Are we still being visited by these gods from outer space? Many scientists believe so. These reconstructed scenes of visits by gods from outside our galaxy are not proof, but they do show what to look for. With the current fevered interest in UFO sightings, close encounters with alien life forms, and extraterrestrial phenomena, it is quite probable that in the near future the existence of the gods in their limos will be proven beyond any doubt, even to the skeptics who remain. Until this happens, the scientific world will remain split as to the existence of Cadillacs of the gods. The evidence is abundant, and it is overwhelming. It only remains to be accepted.